Welcome, Lee here from Play Guitar Academy with another Why They Work lick video. Today, I have 6 beginner blues licks. These are all in the key of G, and if you're a beginner, these are not going to take a lot of time to learn, but they're just enough of a challenge to help pull you up to the next level. Before we get started though, to get the most out of these lick lessons, we need to open up the entire fretboard and stop playing in just 1 or 2 patterns. So take a second to click the link in the description and download my free Big 4 scale pattern worksheet. Okay, let's get started with the licks. Today I'm playing in the key of G and I'm using all of the patterns of the G minor blues scale. The minor blues scale, it adds 1 tension note to the minor pentatonic scale, the one you already know. It is the tritone, the flat 5 or the sharp 4, all names for an extremely tense interval. And this is the perfect first step for us to start using tension and release in the blues. And it sounds pretty cool too. Okay, so let's take a look at lick number 1. This is playing in G7 and we're playing in pattern 5. This is the open position lick in the G minor pentatonic scale, but we're doing these as the blues scale. So we are going to add a note in there. We'll talk about it in just a second. So we start off with the D note, D string, open D string. And we're going to be going 0, 3, that's D to F, to the open G string, that's the root note, back to the F, and then to the minor third. That is the 3rd fret on the G string. 0, 3, 0, 0, 3. And that's the pickup before we get to beat 1, where the whole thing starts. And that is, we play the open G note, right on 1, and we slide up to the 3rd fret on the D string, the F, and then back to the open G note. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start doing a pedal tone. We are going to have an upper pedal tone. We're going to start playing this G note on the 3rd fret. Every time that we play another note, we're going to play it together. So we have double stops coming up and down this pattern 5 here. So we're going to start off with 2 3s, 3rd fret on the G string and 3rd fret on the high E string together. That's our root note on top and our minor third on the bottom. And then we're going to go to the open G string right after that. Now the last beat of this measure, we have a triplet, all with this pedal tone, but we're starting with the open G to the 3rd fret, to the 1st fret on the B string. And that's the 4th, and that's going to take us up to playing 2 3s on the high string. We do that 3 times. I'm doing hybrid picking. I'm picking the B string and then plucking it with my middle finger on the high E string 3 times. Now we're going to do a walk down on the B string. 3, 2, 1, 3, 0. So this is where our minor blues scale starts to come in here. So we're going from the 5th to the sharp 4, the tritone to the 4, to the minor third to the root. So it's straight down the blues scale. So here we are in lick number 2. This one's going to be more minor pentatonic, not so much the blues scale in this one. We're going to go to the F note that's on the 6th fret of the B string and bend it a whole step. So it sounds like the next note, which is the G on the 3rd fret of the high E string. Now we're going to work our way down the minor pentatonic scale, F to D, that's the flat 7 to the 5th, and then to the C, the 4th, and then down to the minor third, which is the 3rd fret on the G string. And then we're going to slide up with our 3rd finger from the 5th fret to the 7th fret, up into pattern 2, a little pattern 2 extension here. We're going to play the 6th fret on the B string again, back to the 7th fret, slide back to pattern 1, to the 5th fret, then the 3rd fret, and then we'll go to the root note on the 5th fret, down to the flat 7th, and back to the root. And then at the end of this measure, we have a little root to a double stop here. That's going to bring us into more double stops. As you can see by this next measure, we're going to start bending some double stops, which is pretty fun, especially for a beginner. So we're going to get our pinky and our 3rd finger at the 5th fret on the G and the B string. And then we're going to bend those up a half step, release, and then go to the 3rd fret, barring the same 2 strings, right? And then we're going to do that again. And finally end on the root note 5th fret, D string. So now lick number 3, we're going to do some bending notes and some blues scale in this. The note we're going to start with, this is going to be the 8th fret on the high E string. Now remember that the chord has changed now. We're doing these in a 12-bar blues. So this is when we get to the 4 chord, the C7. And we're going to take this 8th fret, which is the C, but we're going to bend it up a full step to a D, and then come an octave down to this D. That's at the 7th fret of the G string, and then resolve it back to the C note without bending it, the 8th fret on the high E string. So we're taking the root, bending it up to a weak note, going an octave down, and then resolving to the strong note. Now, as we move forward, this is where the blues scale comes in. Here in pattern 2, the blue note is the highest note of all of them. It's a half step above the highest note of the pattern. 9th fret. So we're going to go 9th fret, 8th fret, 6th fret. We'll do that 2 times in triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then to the root note right here. That's the tritone, 4th, minor 3rd, and root. Now, at the end of this, we have a little 8th fret on the D string. That's really a pickup to lick number 4. So let's head over to lick number 4. So now in lick 4, we're moving up another pattern. If you haven't noticed now, we started in pattern 5, then we went to pattern 1, then to pattern 2. Each one of these licks is in a new pattern as we work our way up the fretboard. This is going to be in pattern 3. So we're starting here on the 8th fret of the D string. We'll use that as a springboard to get us to the 8th fret of the B string, which is our root note. We're back on a G7 chord at this point in the 12-bar blues. That lasts for a measure, and then the next measure, we have our blues scale run. So now we have 8th fret, that's our root, 11th fret, these are both on the B string, that's the minor 3rd, 8, 9, 10. So there is our blues scale, 4th, sharp 4, 5. And then we're going to work our way back, 10, 9, 8, 11, 8. So bum, 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 bum. So if this is the beat 1. And at the end of this lick, we're going to bend the 11th fret up and then come back to the root on the 8th fret. Little B.B. King sound there. 2, 3, 4. So lick number 5, we've made it all the way up to pattern 4 up here real high, and we're going to be doing a double stop bend here. This is a lot of fun to do at the top of pattern 4 because we have 2 notes right next to each other. And these are both the 13th fret that puts the F note, that's our flat 7th at the top, and that puts a C note, our 4th, underneath it. But when we bend, we're just going to bend the B string, not the high E string. So it gives kind of a train sound. You can put your other fingers behind your 3rd finger, your 1st and your 2nd, on the B string to help bend, but keep that pinky right where it is. And these are triplets, so we're going to bend the first time and then hit it 2 more times as it's bent. Now this is all over the D7th chord. It's going to sound like this. But we're going to end the phrase on a C note here. And there's a reason why, because that is the point where the D chord goes to the C, the D7 chord goes to the C7 chord right there. So we're targeting that new chord coming in, which is the C. So now in lick number 6, we're going to end this whole thing with a turnaround lick. This is where we go back to the G7 chord, play that for a measure and a half, and then we play our little tag, the little D7 that tells you that everything's over, the 5 chord here. But we're starting on the root up high. So we start on the 15th fret with the pinky, and we play the D string on the 15th fret as well. So 2 on the high E, now the 15th on the D, back and forth. Now we're going to lower this 15th fret, the F, down to an E, to E flat, D. And then we're going to play a little tension and release here. So we're going to play our D7th chord, but we're going to play really a C sharp 7 first and slide it up into the D7. Thanks for playing along today, and thanks to all of the Academy members over at playguitaracademy.com. They are tearing into the tab, the guitar profiles, the backing tracks from this lesson right now. And don't forget to download my free Big 4 scale pattern worksheet. This is going to make all of this easier for you. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great practice. I say that all the time, and I mean it. And I'll see you in the next lick video. Bye-bye.